Good evening and welcome to the Job Search Solution, the radio program where we talk about looking for a job, changing jobs, changing careers, hiring. And as always, we begin with a prayer. Dear God, grant us thy peace and thy mercy, thy will be done. In this session, I want to talk about something parallel to your job search. And it is why Gonzaga is going to win the national title. And we're going to parallel what Gonzaga is doing that the other teams aren't doing, that you in your job search need to be aware of, even if you're interviewing people to hire. The parallels are just astounding. And you don't have to be that sophisticated in basketball to be able to see this kind of stuff. It is so obvious, it is almost stupid, but you got to pay attention to it because it's going to be what makes these guys probably go undefeated. Now, I've been watching just about everybody in the Final Four, Sweet 16, the Elite Eight. I just don't see anybody being able to beat these guys unless they just fall apart. So here are some of the things they are doing that parallel your job search if you are looking for a job. The first thing is they work a system. This coach they've got, Mark Few, has developed a systematic approach to the game that hardly anybody has. Now, I admit you got to have good athletes to run the system, no doubt about that. But and you look and see the athletes that he's got, and they're darn good. There's no doubt about that. But they run a system. They all know exactly what the system is, and they all run it down to the point of they know exactly what they do, what they're going to do when they get the ball at a certain period of time. They know how many passes they have to make in order for the system to work. They know exactly what they're going to do on defense, and they've practiced it and practiced it and practiced it until they have the system down just automatically. They absolutely know exactly what they're doing and how they're doing it and the way they're doing it, so that they got the system down. It is a systematic approach to where if you focus on the system, you don't have to worry about the result. The score is going to take care of itself. The second thing I've noticed is that they have a lot of humility. You listen to Mark Few, as with most of the coaches, this guy has no ego, no big ego. He has a healthy ego, and every one of the players has a very healthy ego, but nobody has a real big ego. They're just out there doing their job, blue collar type guys that are just doing what they're doing. And they're humble about the whole thing. They admit that they've been blessed. Sometimes they've been just downright lucky, but the stuff doesn't go to their head. Again, they have a healthy ego, but not a big ego, and none of what they do is going to their head. You don't see anybody so proud or so strong in their ego that it overruns what the team is doing. They have intensity. Now, there's a difference between being intense and being desperate. I often have candidates say, well, I just don't want to come across as desperate. I never said you should come across as desperate, but come across as intense. It doesn't matter whether you're ahead by 10 points or by 30 points, you have intensity. Intensity is the key. I know very little about basketball, but I do know that intensity is the key to defense. You watch these guys defend, they are intense, they are all over the place. A lot of teams that I've seen kind of lack defensive intensity because they think, well, we'll make it up in offense because we're so good at shooting threes, or we're so good at driving the paint, or we're so good on the free throw line. But these guys have intensity. Intensity is what is the key to defense. And these guys have more intensity than any team I've seen, and at least this year. So they have a tremendous amount of intensity, which leads to a tremendous amount of energy. They've got energy all over the place. And I'm sure there are nights when they go out where they don't really want to have energy, but they've got energy and it exudes. Energy and activity breeds results. Sometimes those results aren't as good as they would like, but the energy and intensity that they have forces them to do what they need to do just out of habit. It's unconscious competency. That intensity and energy they have on defense is absolutely phenomenal. They cause more turnovers than anybody else in the tournament because they have energy and intensity. And then when they make mistakes, they blow it off. You don't see them hanging their head. You don't see them whining about the mistakes they make. They make a mistake, they forget it. You got to have a short memory. And this is so true in the job search. You make a mistake in the interviewing process, you drop it, you forget it, you go on. So many candidates don't have energy, don't have intensity. They have too much pride and not enough humility, and they don't work a system that if you focus on the process, you don't have to worry about the result. Now, we don't know how far Gonzaga is going to go. We hope they go all the way because they are so much fun to watch. But when you consider they work a system, they have humility, they don't have big egos, they have intensity, they have energy, and they deal with the mistakes just as they are. And then, for finally, they have great free throw ability. Those free throws are called free throws for a reason. They're free, and you ought to be able to make them. There are some layups and some free throws in the interviewing process that people don't take advantage of. All right, we're going to take a short break. Stay tuned. This is Tony Bashir with the Job Search Solution.